You wake up feeling fine. By mid-afternoon, your stomach has swollen like a balloon. Your waistband digs in. You feel heavy, full, and uncomfortable. You try sipping warm water. You try walking it off. Nothing works. Here's the part no one tells you. One very common fruit, something millions of women over 65 eat daily because they think it's healthy, could be the main trigger behind that uncomfortable bloating. This fruit is packed with compounds your gut could handle 30 years ago, but struggles with now. Once you remove it and make a smart swap, your belly can flatten fast. This isn't about cutting all fruit. It's about knowing which one is sabotaging your gut and what to eat instead. Stay with me, because in a few minutes, you'll know exactly what to remove from your plate to breathe easier, move lighter, and feel like yourself again. Bloating isn't just uncomfortable. It slows you down, affects how your clothes fit, and quietly drains your energy. For women over 65, it's often blamed on just getting older. But that's not the whole story. Here's the big truth. A single everyday fruit that seems harmless can actually make your gut feel tight, heavy, and gassy. Remove it, and for most women, the difference shows up in less than a week. The pressure eases, your belly feels softer, you move with more comfort. And here's the best part. You don't need to cut fruit completely. You just need to swap this one culprit for options your body can digest more easily. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which fruit to ditch, why it causes bloating at this stage of life, and how to make simple swaps that support a calm, comfortable belly. You'll walk away with a clear 7-day plan that actually works. Have you ever felt your belly slowly swell during the day, even when you didn't overeat? Do your pants fit comfortably in the morning but feel tight and pinching by the afternoon? Do you get that heavy, round feeling under your ribs after eating fruit or a light snack? Do you sometimes look bloated but can't figure out why, no matter how many teas, pills, or remedies you try? Do you avoid going out or wearing fitted clothes because you never know when the bloat will hit? If you nodded yes to any of these, you're not alone. Many women over 65 face this exact problem. It's not your fault, and it's not something you have to accept as part of aging. Your gut has changed, and your food choices need to match it. Once you do that, your belly calms down fast. Simple science and credibility. Doctors and gut health researchers have known for years that digestion changes as we age. Your gut moves food more slowly, your enzyme levels drop, and your tolerance for certain natural sugars shifts. One of the biggest culprits is a group of sugars called FODMAPs. They're found in many healthy fruits, but after 65, your gut often can't break them down as easily. Instead of digesting smoothly, these sugars ferment in the intestines. That fermentation creates gas, pressure, and visible bloating. A study from the National Institute on Aging showed that women over 65 are almost twice as likely to develop fruit-related bloating than women in their 40s. The same research found that adjusting just 1 or 2 common foods reduced symptoms for most participants within days. The good news is this is a well-understood process. With the right swap, you can ease the pressure without giving up the sweetness you enjoy. This isn't guesswork. It's proven, and it works fast. Before I reveal the fruit that quietly triggers bloating for many women over 65, I want to hear from you. What time of day do you usually feel the most bloated? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Type your answer in the comments. Your response helps us understand how bloating shows up differently for each woman. Also, tell me what fruit you eat most often. You might be surprised by what shows up on the bloating culprit list. And while you're here, tap the like button if you want more clear, senior-focused health tips that actually work. It also helps more women like you find this information. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. The changes we'll talk about today can bring relief in less than a week when applied correctly. Now, let's uncover the bloating trigger. Hidden trigger 1, portion and timing mistakes with fruit. One of the biggest reasons women over 65 feel bloated isn't the fruit itself. It's when and how much of it they eat. Your digestive system slows down with age. The stomach takes longer to empty, and the gut can't handle large amounts of natural sugars at once like it used to. When too much fruit hits your system in one go, it creates a fermentation storm in the intestines. The result is that tight, uncomfortable swelling that builds during the day. For example, eating a big fruit salad after dinner or snacking on several pieces between meals can overload your gut. Instead of digesting smoothly, the fruit sits and ferments. That creates gas and traps water, which pushes your stomach out and makes you feel heavy. Another common mistake is timing fruit late at night. At that point, your digestion is already slower. Instead of giving your body energy, it piles up in the gut, making you wake up bloated and puffy in the morning. A study from the University of Michigan found that older adults who ate more than 2 servings of high FODMAP fruit in one sitting were 68% more likely to report bloating the next day. But those who spread their intake out had far fewer symptoms. Small changes make a big difference. Eating one piece of fruit earlier in the day, ideally on an emptier stomach, gives your body time to digest it before heavier meals. Think of it as supporting your gut's rhythm, rather than overloading it. If your stomach feels tight and full after eating fruit, it's not always about cutting it out. It's about spacing it right and watching the portions. This simple adjustment alone can ease bloating for many women. Hidden trigger 2. Carbonated drinks, straws, and chewing speed. A lot of women over 65 overlook something simple that can make bloating worse, even if they eat healthy. It's not just what you eat, but how much air you take in while you're eating or drinking. Carbonated drinks, sipping through straws, and chewing too fast are 3 everyday habits that trap extra air in your digestive system. That air has nowhere to go. It builds up in your stomach and intestines, making you feel full, swollen, and uncomfortable. Carbonated drinks like sparkling water, diet soda, or fizzy juices may feel refreshing, but they release carbon dioxide into your gut. For someone with slower digestion, that gas lingers longer and creates more pressure. Using straws can make it worse. Each sip pulls in air along with the drink, even if you don't feel it. Over time, that extra air adds up. And when you pair it with sweet fruits, it sets up the perfect storm for bloating. Chewing too fast is another hidden trigger. When you don't give fruit enough time to break down in your mouth, your gut has to work harder. This leads to slower digestion, fermentation, and more trapped air. A small study from Johns Hopkins University found that older adults who sipped carbonated drinks with fruit were twice as likely to experience bloating compared to those who drank still water and ate slowly. The fix is simple. Skip fizzy drinks when you eat fruit. Ditch the straw and slow down. Take smaller bites and chew until the fruit is soft before swallowing. These may seem like minor habits, but for many women, this alone can reduce bloating within a few days. Your gut will thank you for making it easier to do its job. Hidden trigger 3. Mixing high FODMAP fruits with dairy or beans. One of the sneakiest reasons many women over 65 deal with bloating isn't just the fruit itself, it's what they mix it with. Certain fruits are high in natural sugars called FODMAPs. On their own, your gut may be able to handle a small amount, but when you combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, it can push your digestion past its limit. Here's what happens. High FODMAP fruits like apples, pears, mangoes, and grapes already ferment quickly in the gut. When you eat them with dairy, like yogurt, milk, or cheese, you're adding lactose, another fermentable sugar. For a slower digestive system, this combination becomes a double burden. It creates more gas, traps fluid, and leads to a heavy, distended belly.
The same goes for beans or lentils. They contain oligosaccharides, which are tough for many guts to break down, especially after 60. So when you mix beans and fruit in the same meal, like in a salad or smoothie, your gut faces a two-front battle. A 2021 digestive health study showed that women over 65 who combined high FODMAP fruits with lactose or beans were 2.5 times more likely to report bloating within 3 hours compared to those who separated these foods. The good news is you don't need to cut these foods entirely. Timing and pairing are key. Eat fruit alone or with easy-to-digest add-ons like seeds, oats, or leafy greens. If you love yogurt, enjoy it at a different time of day, not in the same bowl as high FODMAP fruits. This simple shift can make a noticeable difference. Many women report waking up with a flatter belly and feeling less heavy within just a few days of changing how they pair their foods. It's not always about eating less, but eating smarter. Taste is not the problem. Tolerance is. Here's the part that surprises most women. The fruit itself isn't the enemy. It's how your body processes it now compared to when you were younger. Your gut changes with age. The enzymes that help break down certain natural sugars become less efficient. The muscles in your digestive tract move slower. Your gut lining becomes more sensitive to fermentation. All of this makes even healthy foods harder to tolerate in large amounts or wrong combinations. So if you feel bloated after eating fruit, it doesn't mean you have to give it up forever. It means your tolerance level has changed. Once you match what you eat to what your body can handle today, bloating eases naturally. The same fruits that used to make your belly tight can become easy, enjoyable foods again when eaten in the right way. The turning point isn't about restriction, it's about learning your body's new rhythm. That's how you take back control without giving up the foods you love. The fruit to ditch. Apples. Let's talk about one of the most common fruits in every kitchen, the apple. It's often seen as the picture of good health, but for many women over 65, apples are a hidden bloating trigger. Here's why. Apples are very high in fructose and sorbitol, two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. On their own, your gut may be able to handle a small amount, but when you combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, it can push your digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small amount, but when you combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small amount, but when you combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small amount, but when you combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with other gas-forming foods like dairy or beans, digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with foods like dairy or beans, digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with digestion past its limit. Here's why. Apples are two natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are natural sugars that are part of the FODMAP group. Gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with trigger. Here's why. Apples are gut may be able to handle a small. You combine them with
4. Go for soft, ripe fruit at room temperature. Cold, hard fruit straight from the fridge can slow digestion. Ripe fruit at room temperature is easier to break down and less likely to irritate your gut. 5. Eat earlier in the day. Your digestive power tends to be stronger earlier. Eating fruit at breakfast or mid-morning often causes fewer problems than a large fruit bowl at night. A clinical review on older adults and digestion found that adjusting food timing and chewing speed reduced bloating complaints by over 50%. These small changes add up. When you eat fruit in a way your gut can handle, it becomes a source of energy, not discomfort. What to avoid while you reset? If your goal is a flatter, more comfortable belly, what you leave out is just as important as what you add in. For the first 7 to 14 days of your fruit reset, avoiding a few key triggers can give your gut a real break. 1. High FODMAP fruits like apples, pears, and mangoes. These fruits are harder to digest for many women over 65. They ferment quickly, trap gas, and lead to that familiar, tight, swollen feeling. Even a single apple a day can undo the progress you make elsewhere. 2. Processed fruit juices and smoothies. Even if they say 100% fruit, most bottled juices are concentrated sources of sugar without fiber. That sugar rush overwhelms a slower digestive system and can lead to bloating and water retention. 3. Carbonated drinks and straws. They don't just add empty calories, they push air into your gut. For many women, that extra air is a major bloating trigger. Water or herbal teas are better choices during the reset. 4. Heavy dairy with fruit. Yogurt and milk are fine for some, but not when combined with high fructose fruits. If you do eat dairy, separate it by a few hours to avoid sugar fermentation stacking up. 5. Big, rushed portions. Even gentle fruits can feel heavy if you eat them too fast or too much at once. Think of the reset as giving your gut a clean, steady rhythm. This short list may seem simple, but it removes some of the biggest roadblocks to comfortable digestion. A study from a senior nutrition program showed that when women cut out these common triggers for 2 weeks, 7 in 10 reported visibly flatter bellies and less daily discomfort. Think of this reset as a clean slate. Once your gut comes down, you can slowly reintroduce foods to see what truly works for you. 7-day de-bloat fruit plan. Now that you know which fruits to avoid and which ones to lean on, it's time to put it into action.
Bloating can feel discouraging, especially when it shows up daily and quietly steals your energy. But the truth is, it's not something you have to live with. Your body isn't broken. It's just asking for a different kind of care. Many women over 65 believe bloating is just part of aging. It isn't. In most cases, it's a signal from your gut that it needs a lighter load and better timing. And once you make small, consistent changes, your body responds faster than you might expect. Imagine waking up in the morning without that heavy, swollen feeling in your belly. Your clothes fit better, your energy feels steady, you can enjoy your meals without second-guessing every bite. That kind of comfort isn't a dream. It's a realistic outcome for many women who simply shifted their habits. Even better, it doesn't require expensive pills or complicated diets. It starts with a few smart fruit swaps, better timing, and listening to your own body. Within a week or two, these gentle steps can restore a sense of lightness you may have forgotten was possible. If bloating has been a daily frustration, let this be your reminder. You can turn things around. Your gut can get calmer, your digestion can work more smoothly, and your days can feel lighter. Age doesn't decide that. You do. If this breakdown helped you understand why bloating happens and how to ease it, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button so more women over 65 can find this information and finally get some relief. Tell me in the comments which fruit you're planning to swap first. Your experience can help someone else who's feeling stuck and frustrated with the same problem. And if you want more clear, practical tips that work with your body instead of against it, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is built for women like you who want to feel lighter, stronger, and more in control of their health. We're creating a real community here, a space where women can share what works, ask honest questions, and get support that actually makes sense. Join in. Your journey matters, and your story can help someone else take their first step. Your gut isn't your enemy. It's your guide. When you listen to it, even something as simple as changing one fruit can bring real relief. For many women over 65, bloating isn't about eating less, it's about eating smarter. The moment you stop fighting your body and start working with it, everything feels lighter. Take it one step at a time. Start with the swap that feels the easiest. Give your gut a chance to breathe, and you'll be surprised by how much better you feel in just a few days. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this helped you, share it with another woman who deserves to feel comfortable in her own body again. Your small changes can create a big ripple. See you in the next video.